It's heavy.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 255. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. It is Tuesday, y'all. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday out there to y'all, man. Hope y'all doing excellent as always. And I'm glad you came on back to the channel once again to fuck with the bean. Now, I said it's Tuesday, right? So you know this man just put out a video, right? And you know we about to go check it out. And y'all know who that man be. Mike from that chapter. Going back to Mike, y'all. The title of the video: The Resentful Stepmom's Disturbing Crimes. Letitia Stock. Bro, I promise y'all, I've been living on this earth for 32 plus years now, and I never seen that last name before. Stauch? Stock? I don't know, man. I don't know how to pronounce it for real, man. But the thing I'm thinking about before we get into the video is I'm thinking the resentful stepmom. Like, I'm thinking like it's a stepmom who, you know, married to a man, or she probably, you know, dating a man or whatever, in a relationship with a man, and she is resentful towards his kids that he had in a previous relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because she ain't they real mama. I don't know, man. I know y'all get what I'm trying to say, but I could be completely wrong. But we finna see if I'm completely wrong. But before we see if I'm completely wrong, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you make. Get what you need. We back to Mike from that chapter on another Tuesday. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this video, how do you like that? Making the exact same joke I made when I covered the story initially. We are looking at the case of Gannon and Letitia Stauch. As I just said, this is a case I talked about over 3 years ago, if you can believe that. Wow, I aged terribly. And it only came to a head recently. That was what happened to Gannon Stauch in Colorado in 2020, and the extremely bizarre, batshit, and disturbing actions of his stepmother, Letitia Stauch.
Really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone.
Letitia is a character, I mean, even Disney villains would say she was over the top evil. And the actions of this crazy nutbar only got stranger as the investigation continued, before it finally landed right smack dab where you just know it would. Before we get into it, please subscribe to see new videos every week, every Tuesday, and, well, let's say most Fridays. Not every Friday, because it is a lot for just one guy. But now, let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go! And get whatever you may need.
So, to begin, let's take the story from the top. Colorado Springs, right smack dab in the middle of the state, is where this started. In Lorson Ranch on Mandan Drive, in a neighborhood on the very southwestern side of town, surrounded by pretty much nothing at all. In a house there lived Eugene Al Stauch, his wife Letitia Stauch, and their 3 children. 17-year-old Harley Hunt, Letitia's daughter from a previous relationship, the father had since passed away, and 11-year-old Gannon and 8-year-old Lena Stauch, Al's children from a previous relationship. Al shared custody of both Gannon and Lena. Their mother, Landon, she lived in South Carolina. Al and Landon, they'd been married for over 10 years, and, you know, they had the 2 kids together, but the relationship started to deteriorate, as it so often does, as you see. So they split up, but, you know, they wanted to co-parent their kids. In fact, they'd all initially, like Landon and her new husband, And Al and Letitia initially lived in South Carolina. They had moved to Colorado in 2019 due to Al's work. Now Letitia, upon marrying Al and having her own daughter and then these two new kids, wasn't so thrilled to be moving away from her home in South Carolina, and she especially wasn't too thrilled about essentially kind of being a stay-at-home mom for two kids that weren't what she viewed as hers. Resentment would start to build up on Letitia Stauch's part. Al and Letitia had married in 2015, and Al himself, he worked in the military. He was working in the Army National Guard full-time and was frequently based around the country, stationed for weeks at a time. Letitia Stauch, she was something else. No shit. Letitia, or just Tisha, or just T, or just words I can't say right now. She'd worked in education for pretty much most of her life in North Carolina and in Colorado as an assistant teacher. At 36 years of age, in 2020, she was going through orientation for an assistant position at Mountain Ridge Middle School. However, in late January, that offer, as they say, was rescinded. This was due to her employers finding a number of inconsistencies in her applications. She'd worked in a number of schools, never really full-time jobs, more, assistants, substitutes, that sort of thing. But she never stayed long. Either she wasn't offered it or she resigned. Her South Carolina teaching license was actually suspended in 2016 after engaging in, quote, unprofessional conduct, willfully neglecting her duty, and failing to comply with the provisions of her contract. And she was out on her ass after that. Now, it's interesting she would work in education and with kids, because she certainly didn't like raising her husband's kids, or at least it was something she was very resentful of. She was like a big ball of resentment. When you take one look at Letitia Stauch, you can kind of just look at her and say, I don't like you.
Oh, I gotta stop it real quick, y'all. Because at the beginning of the video, you know what I'm saying, I said, I think, after we read the title and shit, I said, I think that she gonna be resentful of the kids, of the dude that she with right now, because they not really her kids. But something just flashed in my head, and I hope we not going to this point. I hope we are not going to this point where she done murdered both of the kids or one of the kids. I don't even think she murdered. I think one of them was an adult later on. I don't fucking know, man. But that just flashed in my head because I'm trying to figure out disturbing crimes. Did she do something to the children? Let's see.
I haven't even gotten into what she, did. Spoiler alert. The cut of her jib is no bueno, as they say in Spain or in other countries where they speak Spanish. But she's just a very narcissistic, negative character. Again, I haven't even gotten to what she's gonna do. I mean, she was resentful that she was raising, and I'll use raising in quotations, Eugene Al's kids, Gannon and Lena, and she would Google things about, I guess, the feelings she herself was having. Things like, parenting should be for people, not one. I'm over doing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. She obviously was free-falling because those Googles were Tom Petty, but that last one... Let's keep going. By the way, just to note, Landon, the mother, did live in South Carolina and had been through a couple of difficult pregnancies, so you can kind of ease off there. Now, out in her ass wasn't the oddest for Letitia. In fact, she had a small criminal history. Never anything serious, but stuff like communicating threats, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and that was pretty much it. But she would be out in her ass yet again in Colorado on the 24th of January 2020 when she was let go from that position after they found inconsistencies in her employment history. That was just at the time her husband, Al Stauch, was about to go on his way to Oklahoma to a military base there. And so 3 days after Letitia Stauch was fired, let go, on the 27th of January, Gannon Stauch went missing. That night, Gannon, G-Man, had not returned home after heading out that day to see some friends. That Monday, Letitia Stauch was the one who reported him missing, dialing 911 at 6:55 p.m.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to call emergency or non-emergency. Sorry, I can barely talk, but my son was supposed to be on at 6 o'clock, and I'm just settling. So, all his friend's house, he said he was going to be at his friend's house, and they said he wasn't there, and he wasn't for the delivery man. What's the thing? And then...
it's looking like exactly what I ain't want to happen is happening. She done fucking killed the damn little boy and probably the girl too. I mean, it just seemed like we going down that road, y'all. I'm getting depressed now, man. And I had said, I was like, man, I don't think, because I thought the little boy, I thought at the very beginning of the video, I thought that he had showed a clip of the little boy as an adult. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if that's the case now. Man, bro.
She said he was supposed to have been home, an hour ago. He wasn't. Allegedly, he had left the home in the afternoon at around 3 p.m. to go visit some friends, and he hadn't been seen since. When he never returned, Letitia called his friends, called around. They had no clue where he was, and so the alarm was raised that dark winter evening. Things moved quickly from there, right? Neighbors, friends, everyone was out quickly in search of the young fella. Tip lines, drones, the news, you name it.
They're traveling east and west along Fontaine. Still no updates as to Gannon's whereabouts, but they are hoping that they find anything that can lead to his recovery and just finding him and finding out what happened to him.
As when you have these cases of these missing kids, everybody's out there. The community rallies around to try and find him. And Gannon, nice young, 11-year-old kid, nice, kind young boy. Definitely the kind of person where everybody will do their utmost to try and solve this. Police looked through the Stoke house and spread out from that epicenter. Al, who had left home on the night of the 25th to fly to Oklahoma to a military base, he returned home on the 28th to help find his son. Landon flew in from South Carolina to find her son.
So he was going to go play with his friend, and his dad already told him he could play with his friend. And he didn't come back at 6, so I looked outside and saw it was sleeting, so I said, well, maybe he's waiting on one of us to come get him, So we drive to the neighbor's house, which I'm assuming he's at the neighbor's on the corner's house, and they're like, no, he's not here. So I was like, okay, maybe it's only one other person. So they kept leading us on all this chase of people it could be. We covered a lot of houses, and at this point, the neighbors all stepped in and kind of went to the houses ourselves. And I'm almost positive he is with someone that he knows, because he searched on his phone, can my parents find me if my phone is off?
And I mean, from the get-go, this was not like, the young, happy-go-lucky Gannon. He was a great kid, he was kind, and he was not a troublemaker. He wouldn't run away or whatever for whatever reason. It was just not in his nature, and he lived in such a remote place. Where
he going?
Where'd he go?
Where he going?
Now, there were a few false leads even from the start. False sightings. Oh, I think I've seen him over there. Completely different person. And even when they set up an email, like findgannonstoke.com, they would get tips in emails. They even got some fake ransom emails, if you can believe that shite from there's some sick mother effers out there to do that, in the middle of this huge, just not only is it wasting police time, you're also just proving yourself to be an evil son of a bitch. As always, in the very worst of times, there's always people out there trying to steal your shit. It'd sicken your arse. And speaking of keeping things safe, this old video is sponsored by Exter, who make the only wallets you'll ever...
Look at Mike, y'all. The snuck a commercial in there. But I'm sorry, man. She had to been did something to him. She planned the I don't know where he went. I thought he was gonna be back home card, but I don't believe her, y'all. I don't know if y'all believe her, but I don't believe her. And y'all fuck with Esther. Now let's get back into it. Let's get to the nitty gritty of what really happened, cause this bitch lying.
Which is coming right up. Or simply use code CHAPTER at checkout to get the very same discount. Perfect for Daddy's Day, perfect for me. I mean, I'm not a daddy, but I like to think of myself as a daddy. So you can get me some extra stuff if you want. So once again, check out shop.extra.com/thatchapter and use my code CHAPTER to get the perfect item for the elegant fella in your life, like besides me. Thank you so much to Extra for sponsoring this whole video. Now let's get back to it. Now, early on though, there was some distance between Al, Landon, and Letitia.
How do I describe my G-Man, my Gannon? Gannon's my hero. I love him so much. He's not only my hero, he has multiple people that call him his hero as well.
Such a happy child, and he just brings life to every party. His smile, even today, is keeping us going. His infectious smile brings me joy every time I think about it.
I mean, when Landon flew in to Colorado from South Carolina, Letitia and Harley were supposed to pick her up from the airport and take her, to the search zone, to the house. They never showed up. They just left this mother going out of her mind with worry, abandoned her at the airport. Make your own way. And before Gannon went missing, she was texting Al, who was on his way to Oklahoma. As she was texting him that, well, she felt underappreciated by both Al and Landon. But he was saying when he's back, they can talk through it. She's worse than a child. This 36-year-old woman is caught with the bullshit she's coming out with. But she was also saying that on the 26th of January, which was a Sunday, the day before Gannon went missing, she was texting Al, saying that herself, Gannon, and Elena had gone out for a hike, but they had to come back early because she said Gannon had an accident. An accident. And then that evening, on that Sunday evening, again the day before he went missing, he had lit a candle that had caused a small fire and burned some carpet in their home. She then texted Al that Gannon was sick and he wouldn't be in school the day after, the day he was last seen. But apparently she said he was happy enough and fine enough to go out and visit his friends. That was her story, at least. I mean, she has a few, though, as you will see. Like Letitia.
Bruh, like, this bitch all over the place with her stories. She got 1 million stories in one. Like, she saying this happened and this happened and that happened and that happened. And all of it is so weird, like, so not of the norm. You know what I'm saying? She got a lot of shit going on about this whole shit. I don't trust this bitch. Long story short story long, man. She might well stop the cap. She needs to stop lying. She needs to stop the cap.
Tisha's story kept evolving. Like, Pokemon ain't got shit on him, which this would evolve. She was telling different stories every other time. For a fact, even when, they were asking her, okay, Gannon went out to visit friends. Who did he go and see? I don't know. She couldn't even name his friends or his friends' parents. She still posted on Facebook and such, continually adding information after the fact, covering up more and more as it was coming out. Some new information would come out and she'd be like, oh shit, I just remembered. Oh yeah, that's why that is the way that it is. Specifically, blood was found in the house, to which she said Gannon cut his foot. When a pool of blood was found under his bed, she said he had a nosebleed that day. It must have been a heck of a nosebleed.
If I ever looked up blood out of the sheets, it was nosebleed.
And I figured it might be something.
I didn't ever look up anything about an artery or something unless it went from something else.
I'm doing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help.
Oh, that bothered me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame
Oh, yes, because I wanted them to be mine. Like,
she even released a video.
Bro, this is the classic case. I can't remember the video we watched recently, but we done watched a lot of videos of people like this, man. This is a classic case of people who fucking lie. I think that was the last, from that chocolate video we watched. It's the same shit. Motherfucker get the lying so much till they start believing their own fucking lies, bro. I believe at this point, all that shit she telling the detectives and all that shit, she believe that shit damn true, for real. Like, that shit take over their brain where they think that shit real. In the back of their head, like in the very, 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 very back of their head and shit, they still know they bullshitting, but just in the front of their brain, they feel like they telling the truth. Like, they believe that shit. Let's go.
Well, it's really just audio, which she accidentally took, of when she said Gannon spilled the candle, which resulted in the carpet being damaged, which I think was her premeditating this whole ordeal, and she just wanted to prove he was alive at a certain time.
Stating, initially, Scott can't lie when the TMZ information...
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? Okay, you promise. You promise. Pinky promise. Okay, all right, so, listen. We're going to have to sell stuff to fix it, okay? So, we figure out what we got to sell. We can sell the sofa. We can sell whatever, because we got to get it fixed, so, lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house, okay? You got it? You got it?
I'm just worried about my friend.
Okay, shh, listen. So tomorrow...
Yeah, the day Gannon went missing, when he went to visit his friends and never returned, things were very, very weird in that house. And it was pretty much just Letitia and Gannon. Harley, she was at work. Lena, the youngest, she was in school. So it was just the two of them. Nobody...
Weird is a fucking understatement. What the fuck did we just watch and see? Even though we couldn't see nothing, but she purposely recorded, like video recorded something, but she didn't want nobody to actually see what the hell was going on. She just wanted the audio to be out there. But there was some weird ass fucking audio, y'all. Like, why she telling the little boy we gotta decide which one we like? She talking to him like, me and you, we gotta decide if we want to sell the sofa or do this or whatever. This shit turning weird now. It's turning weird as fuck, man. I don't know what this bitch is on, but she on some crazy shit with this. She on some crazy shit. I'm not even just talking about the murder, because I think all y'all, we can all agree that she did murder him. But the way she covering it up and the tactics that she using, this bitch weird.
Really knows what happened. But whatever did, wasn't good.
Blood is spurting from an arterial bleed. Direct pressure not controlling.
Do what? I didn't look this up.
It's from your phone.
Blood is what?
Spurting from an arterial bleed.
No.
Somebody did from your phone. I don't like my stepson.
No.
I don't like my stepson. Should I get a divorce?
A neighbor's CCTV would show that on the 27th of January, at about 10:30 a.m., Letitia and Gannon walked out of the house. And Gannon walked strange and moved slowly as if he was drugged. They got out of the car and they drove off. It would later be determined they had driven to pet stores. 2 different pet stores. I mean, if he was as sick as she said he was, to the point where he couldn't go to school, but he was fine to go out for like these big long drives to pick up pet shit. They got home at 2:20, and you can't really see Gannon come home, but it's believed he was there.
This shit weird. This shit is crazy.
But then, likely as soon as he got in, before Gannon even took off his jacket, something happened. Something really bad. And of course, when Letitia was confronted with all of this, she forgot to tell you another story. Oh yeah, this guy broke in and he sexually assaulted Letitia and kidnapped the kid. Sorry, probably should have mentioned that earlier. Letitia said she had hired someone to fix the burnt carpet. A guy named either Eduardo or Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown was a criminal who just happened to be in the news at the time. Literally, I think Letitia heard the name on the radio. He was a sex offender who was doing the rounds, and she was like, oh, it's him. It was him. So regardless of who it was, I mean, she had all these different names for him, but it doesn't really matter because he doesn't exist. She said okay, this is her story, is that she hired somebody to come in and fix the burnt carpet, and instead of fixing the burnt carpet, she said she was raped by him, sexually assaulted her, and then at gunpoint, and then kidnapped Gannon. And then he hit her in the head, knocked her out. She woke up, she didn't know what to do. That's her story.
Gannon is alive.
My brothers and sisters, we done went from what I was saying first, man, her story all over the place, man. It's all over the place, to okay, yeah, she a fucking liar, and she pretty much a liar that believe in their own lies and shit. But now she done went to fucking delusional, or just, I don't know what this is. I don't know what type of liar this is. A liar that just said some shit that at this, come on, man. Bro, how could you change the story up to that, oh, I fucking forgot, but I got raped because a dude broke in the house. No, he ain't breaking the house. I let him in to fix the carpet. I let him in to fix the carpet. I think his name was Eduardo or Fernando or Ronaldo. But I let him in to fix the carpet, right? But he ended up raping me, and he kidnapped the little boy. I can't think of his name right now. Kidnapped the little boy. So, yeah, I forgot to tell y'all that all this time the investigation been going on. Like, bro, how could, like, I don't know no more. I feel like the fucking police, she should be locked up, bro. She should just be locked up. Off that line right there, she should be locked up. That's one of the ones where you 99.9% sure that she is fucking lying when she brought that out. I know I just went on a little tangent, man. Let's go.
We have an 11-year-old kid somewhere being held against its will, and you're not telling us. You might as well have done this yourself. That's why I'm saying.
However, when she was telling the police this, there was no marks on her head, and she refused like a sexual assault examination, which of course would have given information enough to find this guy. And she was like, actually, you know what? No. She then said she had to clean up the area where this attack happened on her and on her stepson. So clean up the area with bleach and other kind of cleaning products, and that's why luminol will detect blood, which it did, but it might not be visible on the surface, and why everything smells like bleach, which it also did. At this stage, the police were fairly sure she cleaned up where she had murdered Gannon, not where there had been any sort of bullshit abduction. And then Letitia did this interview.
You are?
I am Tisha Stout, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. 2, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't complying. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, said I still wasn't complying, or said I was, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated. There was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon.
By the way, just
time this shit out. Stop for a second, man. Stop for a second, bro. During that interview, man, I really just started to get fucking angry. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I just started to get fucking angry. I went from being weirded out to just how weird and shit her answers and shit she was saying. You know what I'm saying? I went from sad to being weird to now I'm getting to the angry point because I just put myself in her shoes, right? And I know for a fucking fact, if that was me telling these bullshit ass lies to the police, my ass would have been locked up a long fucking time ago. This bitch is still free. How is she free right now? How the is she free, man? How? My ass would have been thrown under the jail. You know what I'm saying, bro? Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. That just go back to what I'm saying, man. Shit just fucked up. The whole system, the court system, whatever. The police, the judicial. I don't even know what word to say, but I'm trying to say, man, that shit fucked up, bro. And certain people would face consequences faster than other people. I guess I'll just say. That shit, I'm just thinking about like, man, if that was me telling all these goddamn stupid, crazy, unbelievable ass lies. Fucking the little boy blood under the damn bed, cleaning material. Look at all this evidence, man, that they got against her. If that was me, and I had cleaned up and then bleached and all this shit, and they was able to find that it was blood in the fucking house, my ass would be locked up. So why is she not locked up? That shit crazy, my people. Let's go.
Fun fact for you. It would turn out that this was Letitia's second take. Oh, okay, no. I can do better. I can do better. Give me a second.
Am I on camera now?
You are
okay,
still.
okay.
After she answered some of their questions, she asked for like a redo. She was thinking, you know what, I could sell some of those better. After she answered some of their questions, she asked for like a redo. Take two, because you know what, I could probably sell some of that a bit better. Which of those takes was better? I pulled it with Letitia. Like the first time, she said she hopes that when Gannon comes home, she gets a sincere apology from her critics. And there were many, especially her husband, Al Stoke.
Really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
But then she said, oh no, wait. Kind of sound like a bitch. Let me do that again. So she answered it like this.
We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family. Is that we love you and miss you. And we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Bro, this bitch so guilty to it's ridiculous, man. She is so guilty to it's ridiculous, bro. This bitch took 3 takes on the interview. In the last one, she just said, fuck it, the best way I can make this shit try to sound convincing is if I'm just fake crying and trying to put on the show and I'm so hurt. Because the first 2 takes she did, it just sounded like she just, you know, we hope he come back and I really don't care, but you know, we just hope he come back and all that. It ain't sound like nothing. So then she had to go to the fake crying shit. I'm just so upset, bro, that why the fuck is she not behind bars? She should be charged with something by now. She been out all this time after this. All that evidence. Wow, bro.
But it was after this interview, Letitia and her daughter Harley, in the middle of this huge investigation and search, hundreds of people everywhere trying desperately to find an 11-year-old boy. During all of this, Letitia and her daughter Harley, as I said, they Audi 5000 the fuck out of there. When she left, she continued her bullshit stories over the phone, and she drove with her daughter to Florida, and she would later being March 2nd, be arrested in Myrtle Beach. She was arrested for the murder of Gannon Stoke. That was finally when the judge signed off on the warrant for her. She did not go quietly, by the way, when they were doing the old, you know, at first she attempted to sprint away, and then when I finally did clap the bracelets on her, she was shouting, she was roaring. It was like with the flick of a switch, a different Letitia had emerged. You might even call her Maria. But we'll get to that. And while being extradited, you know, back to Colorado, she certainly made the trip interesting. On March 4th, she attacked the deputy, smacking a can of Monster into his head. Strike!
Stop! She keeps threatening me.
Stop.
She keeps on threatening me. I have stopped it. She keeps on.
She got out of the streets.
She keeps on. Threatening me. I will for you. She keeps
Put your arm down.
Put your arm down. She keeps threatening me the whole time.
Tisha, give me your arm.
I will to you.
Tisha, give me your
I
arm.
will to you, but not
Cooperate with me. Cooperate with me.
I will with you, but not with her.
Cooperate with me.
I will with you, not with her.
Like I said, it was like another side of her had just been revealed. A angry, violent side of Letitia.
This bitch really is fucking crazy. Like, crazy. This bitch crazy, y'all. Like, legitimately. That's why she fucking lying and doing all that crazy ass shit. That's why she goddamn, unfortunately, did what she did to that little boy. That's why she ain't crazy enough to be going to goddamn go deal with that situation and in the process of that you will attack the fucking cop that's driving you there. This bitch crazy for real.
And then, on March 17th, a suitcase was found under a bridge in Pace, Florida. Bridge inspectors with the Department of Transportation saw a suitcase just under the bridge. They opened it and out rolled a small body wrapped in blankets in the fetal position. This was 1,400 miles from Colorado Springs. The body was soon identified as Gannon, and it was determined he had been shot in the jaw, stabbed, and suffered a skull fracture. He had defensive wounds, and he'd been drugged too with painkillers. He had been drugged up before he had been killed, but Gannon was just, this kid was just such a fighter. When he was born premature, he was given a 1 in 10 chance of survival. And even under drugs, he put up a fight with the person that killed him. And even there's a lot of things that are just, I mean, that was remarkable in itself, but it was also the fact that he'd even been found at all was remarkable. This bridge that he was found under, there was no water under it. And the bridge was only checked, like it was checked by, you know, people who were making sure the bridge is safe, there's no cracks, that's not going to kill somebody. The bridge was only checked like every 2 years.
Wow.
So if these people, you're checking the bridge, from the Department of Transportation had checked it, you know, just a week or two earlier, Gannon wouldn't be found for another 2 years. He only would have been found recently. And so the murder charge against Letitia, well, she was charged when there was no body, and now there was a body. Letitia, in jail, she tried to escape. Authorities were alerted to this because she kept passing notes to, like, under the next cell door, and they were like, hey, get a load of this. Letitia's plan was to break the window with a broom, and then Letitia had measured herself, and she was fairly confident that she would be able to shimmy through those bars and to freedom. Because that would go so well for her. So when that was revealed, Letitia went with the old, whoa, just remembered, I'm crazy. Saying people were putting stuff in her food, talking to invisible people, and so tests were done, evaluations, and, well, yeah. Now, it was found that Letitia had suffered severe childhood abuse, but, well, you know, it's not exactly a get-out-of-jail-free card, So, what happened? Like, what actually happened, and how did Gannon end up? His body ended up 14 miles away from where he disappeared. Well, it's believed that after they walked into the house together, she murdered him in his room after drugging him. That's probably why they went on this drive together. She was waiting for the drugs to finally kick in. After she killed him, she put his body in a suitcase. And she left that suitcase somewhere unknown, somewhere in town, but it's never been exactly revealed where. Then, on February 1st, when she left Colorado with her daughter Harley, when authorities began zooming in on her, she collected the suitcase, and she drove to Florida with her daughter, with Gannon in the suitcase in the car the entire time. In Florida, they stayed at a motel, and while her daughter was asleep in the motel, she drove, and she dumped the suitcase off a bridge, probably assuming there was water underneath and the suitcase would be washed, you know, into the Atlantic Ocean. Then she went back, and herself and Harley, they went home to South Carolina.
On behalf of Ms. Dow, she appears in custody.
Thank you. And if you would go ahead and state your name, please.
Okay, Letitia Dow.
Letitia pleaded not guilty to the charges, and they were going with the insanity defense. She would have...
Oh my fucking god, y'all! Oh my fucking god, bro! She fucking drove the fucking the little boy body in that fucking car with her daughter all that fucking way? I'm serious. This bitch really is fucking crazy. She really is insane. Like, they defense trying to claim insanity. She really is fucking insane, man. You know, it's a lot of people out here, once they kill somebody, they try to say, oh, I was crazy. I didn't know what I was doing, this and that, this and that. No, this bitch here is fucking crazy, man. This bitch is really crazy. But that do not change the fact of what the fuck she did. So all that crazy house shit and all that, fuck all that. Put their ass in prison if they gotta be in the goddamn cell, 23-hour lockdown, whatever, for the rest of their life, or you can just go and give them the goddamn chair and go in their life, if you ask me. And so I'm not defending that. I think I need to get life in prison or the death penalty. But as far as, like, is she crazy or not? No, this bitch is really fucking crazy. Like Looney Tunes. This bitch took the damn little boy in the car with her on the road with her little daughter. Let's go.
Eventually admit that, yeah, she had killed Gannon. But hold your horses there, buckaroo. It wasn't her. It was her alter ego. Maria Sanchez. They're like two sides of the same coin, and Maria would sometimes come out. Again, this is probably due to, or what she was saying, was due to her severe childhood abuse, and so she had a psychotic crack, and it wasn't her. She's innocent. You know, well, this is what she said happens, that she had this like psychotic crack. She walked into Gannon's room, and she saw a dark figure there, like a monster. And so knowing she had to protect herself and her family, and she had to protect Gannon, she murdered this dark figure by shooting, stabbing, and destroying the skull. And then she woke up and she was like, whoops. Psychologists would find her full of shit. The trial began in spring of 2023. It went pretty much as you would expect. The defense was weak to the point of being non-existent. She was found to be very competent. Competent enough to murder a young boy and dispose of his body for a time. Anyway, it took the jury just 7 hours to find her guilty, and within minutes the judge sentenced her twice to life in prison with no possibility of parole.
Good.
Harley, by the way, her daughter, it's clear she had no involvement whatsoever in the murder. She was another victim of Letitia Stough's narcissism, and I mean, she was giving out that people were using her. She was using everybody else. Harley would even testify against her own mother. This is truly the case of being somebody just straight up evil. No two ways about it at all. She murdered a young boy to, what the prosecution would say, to hurt her husband Al, because she was so resentful against him for what she felt was being underappreciated. Like she's fucking 14 years old, like she's a child. She felt used, she was jealous, and she wanted to hurt him the only way she knew how, with violence against someone vulnerable. She was resentful, a narcissist. Maybe she didn't intend to kill, but she definitely did sure as shit intend to hurt badly, to hurt her husband. I mean, none of this shit like makes sense to me, and probably doesn't make sense to you too, because it's all just insane. Batshit stuff. But I don't think you can try and make it make sense to you. I don't think you can put yourself in their position because it's so just evil. It's like trying to think what an alien would think. Like, this is just so beyond making sense or just being a goddamn human being, really, at the end of the day. Probably, it's repulsive. It's probably not a good idea to put yourself in that position. And you definitely don't want to be in Letitia's position, destroying the lives of everybody around her and ultimately your own. So, good. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me. It means so much to me, as always. Yeah, if you're here, as always, if you're looking for more that chapter, please check out the Patreon, where you can find some exclusive videos and early access to videos and live streams and stuff like that. Check out the That Chapter podcast, where I'm talking about all sorts of crazy and weird stories that I don't get to talk about in the channel. And yeah, that kind of wraps it up. So yeah, I'll see you real soon in the next video, either on Tuesday or on Friday. But until then, as always, please look after each other and yourselves. Because I love you. Mike out.
Oh, my brothers and sisters, that was a lot to take in. That was a lot to take in with that video, man. Hey, man, Mike, great fucking video, man. That was a lot to take in. Oh my God, bro. I'm so happy that she did get the life sentence and shit, because like I'm trying to tell y'all, man, like, yes, I really do think the bitch is like insane, like crazy on another level. She crazy as fuck, but hey, I'm not excusing her from none of that because she crazy. She still, you do the crime, you need to do the damn time, and I'm glad she's gonna be locked up forever. But it's just all the lies and all the changing up the stories. Even when she got caught, she changed the story till she finally admitted that she did kill him. You know what I'm saying? And the reason she say she did kill him because she seen a dark figure and killed him. Man, bro, this was a lot, man. I keep saying that, but that's just what I get from it more than anything, my brothers. So this took me through a lot of different emotions, man. Went from sad, went to weirded out with all the crazy stories she was telling. I got angry because, like Mike said, he said you can't put yourself in them shoes, but he's saying it as if you can't think how she was thinking. I was putting myself in them shoes as if that was me who had did that shit, the police would lock my ass up immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't put myself in her shoes as far as why would she do that? No, I can't even compute it in my brain. But as far as How the police would have did me if I was the one who was caught up in all this shit. Oh, they would have been putting me behind bars. And that's the last thing I want to say, my brothers and sisters. That leads to the last damn thing I want to say about it is that why in the hell, that's the only thing that just, I feel like was so fucked up about this case too. Why in the hell was she able to be free for so long? She was free for so long. To the point where she was able to drive the little boy body in the damn suitcase with her and her daughter in the car down to go dump it off somewhere else 1,400 miles away. They could have stopped that. They could have stopped that. Hey man, now I'm getting back mad. Like, bruh, it's a lot of emotions up in this one, my brothers and sisters. There was a great fucking video from that chapter, man. I'm gonna let y'all get up out of here now, cause y'all know I can keep on going on about this one. Y'all just make sure y'all hit that like button if you ain't did it yet. Make sure you comment if you want to. Make sure you subscribe most definitely. And go on build. Let's keep building this house up, man. Let's keep it going, man. I am so just by that video, y'all. But I'll see y'all later, my brothers and sisters. And until then, my brothers and sisters, love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.